Hi everybody, it's Louise, the District Sales Manager for Avon. I'm really excited. Tonight is our contour night with our special guest, Makeup Artist Kimberley.
Hi guys.
So Kimberley, I have a question for you.
Sure.
How do we pick the right color contours for our skin tone?
So with the contour, you want to make sure that you're picking a color that's either a shade or a shade and a half, nothing more, just a shade or shade and a half darker than your skin tone.
Okay, so can we show them an example?
Of course.
Okay.
So with your skin tone, if you take the contour stick and just put it towards your skin tone, you can see that it is about a shade darker than your skin tone, so you want to use something like that. Keep in mind that these contour sticks are buildable, so you don't want to go in there with a really drastic contrast to your skin color. You want something that's going to look more natural, because you can always build if you want that really like cut contour.
Awesome, thank you so much. So Kimberley, what kind of contouring is there?
So there's actually two types of contour. There's one where you would just do a straight line and then blend it out to really get a slim face. And then if you want to really enhance the cheeks, and you do more of a rounded contour to just round out your cheeks.
Oh, awesome. So are you going to show us both tonight?
Yes, so I'm going to do one on one side. I'll do the straight on this side and then the rounded on the other side. Okay, so today I'm going to show you how to blend out using the Avon Beauty Sponge. It's really, really simple to use. I'll show you how to use that in just one moment. To begin, I'm going to show you how to actually use a blending sponge. So when you get it, it's going to come like this, and it's very, very dense. So what you want to do is add it in some water and just keep pressing until it starts to expand. It'll soak up all of the water.
I didn't know that.
And it goes about half the size. Well, double the size.
Wow, that's crazy.
Wow.
So you end up with a sponge like this.
So why do we do that?
It's easier to blend. So once you have a sponge that's absorbed with water, firstly it expands it, so it makes it softer, so it's more plushier. So it's easier to blend, but the water will actually help the product from not going into the sponge and absorbing. So it's actually going to stay on your face, and it blends it out in like an airbrush kind of look.
Oh, cool. I learned something new.
And then you want to just make sure that you wring out all the water, and it will stay because it will be damp. And then you're going to get the sponge that looks like this.
Wow.
Okay, so for contouring, an easy way to do it or to remember is just a 3. So you're going to come over here and contour down here. We're going to do straight down here, and then we're going to bring it down to the jawline. So this will basically, once we blend it out, is just going to give the face more definition and more of a sculpted look. Now we're going to blend using the sponge. So what you want to do is lightly dab, but also move the product around, because you want to spread it and thin it out.
Now, do you have to do this on top of makeup, or?
Yes.
Okay.
So the best thing to do is on top of foundation. Because this is a cream, you don't want to have a powder foundation on. You want to either use it with a liquid or a cream or a gel foundation.
Awesome.
And then
Good
after you put it on and you're finished, that's when you're going to put your powder and set everything.
I was just going to ask that question.
Okay, so we're just blending out the jawline. We're blending out the hollows of the cheek and the forehead. Basically what contour does is it recedes everything that needs to be receded, and then highlighting will push forward things that need to be pushed forward. So like the cheekbones over here, so we're going to show you some highlight over here and over here.
So do you always start with the shadowing first?
Yeah, so when doing your contour and your highlight, you always want to make sure that you're layering the product. So you don't want it to overlap each other completely, but you want to have it like your contour, then your blush a little bit over, and then your highlight a little bit over that as well, so it has a seamless blend to it. Okay. So you can actually see the difference right now. So this side looks a little more sculpted than this side. So we're just gonna finish it up and put some highlight on this side, and then I'll show you the other technique on the other side of the face.
So is the highlight on the same stick?
There is a highlight on the same stick, so you can use this, and what you can also do, this I would recommend for doing the top of the jawline, a little bit on the forehead. You can do it down here as well on the cheekbone, but I would also recommend putting maybe like a shimmer highlight also on the cheekbone, but not over on the jawline or on the forehead. You can actually put it on the forehead, just not on the jawline.
Okay.
So now what I'm gonna do is use the other side of the stick, so the lighter end, and we are going to highlight parts of the face. So between the contour of the hollow of the cheek and the jawline, we're gonna just put a line here.
So creamy.
These, they honestly go on amazingly. We're gonna put a line here, and then over here. If you're a pro at it, you can actually do them at the same time. So you can add your contour line, and then you can add your highlight line and blend them out at the exact same time.
So you wouldn't recommend doing the two for somebody that's just starting out contouring?
No, so I wouldn't recommend doing it at the exact same time. I would recommend doing it piece by piece like how we're doing today.
Okay, perfect, thanks.
So now we're gonna go ahead and blend this, and you wanna do the same motion, so you wanna blend it and just spread the product around.
It feels good. Like a facial massage. So can you use other tools aside from the sponge?
You can, absolutely. You can use brushes. Synthetic brushes are really good because they'll hold a lot of the product in there and really distribute it nicely. You can also use real hair brushes, but synthetic are better to use for this.
So do you have an example of a brush that you could show us?
I sure can. So I will do that. I can use the brushes. So as you can see, it's brought out. You can see this, the jawline really stands out because you have the contrast of the contour and the highlight over here as well on the cheekbone and over here because you do want to open up the area also as well. So having the highlight there is really good. Now what we're going to do is use the powder highlight. And there's actually a trick for powder highlight to get that really dewy glow finish that's really trending right now. So first I'll show you how to just regularly do the highlight. So you just want to take a little bit, dust off the excess, and you want to hold your brush, if you're using a brush for this, more at the end because then it's not going to be as heavy-handed as using like up here. And we're just going to dust on. And as you can tell, it's getting that really subtle, shimmery glow on there. Like that. Do you want to turn your head? The trick to get that really dewy glow is you want to take your brush, put it in the product, and then I'm going to take the setting spray and just spray the brush. Wetting the product will make a really big difference on the outcome.
I do that with eyeshadow.
It really is good. A lot of things go, I'm just gonna move this hair.
Sorry.
It goes on better when it's wet, goes on more dewy. I'm just gonna take some more. And then you have that really nice glow. Perfect. So now on the other side, I'm going to show you how to get that really nice rounded cheek look, and I'm going to use the brush. So instead of applying the product directly onto Louisa's skin, I'm going to actually just put it onto the brush. That way, when you add something onto a brush and you're using it from there, you actually have more control over the product and how much you're using. and where it's going.
And is the brush dry?
Yes. So I'm using a dry brush here.
And what kind of brush is that? It looks like an angled brush.
It is. So it is it's the Avon angled brush. So it's really, when using an angled brush, it makes it easier for the application because more of the brush is going to be touching the skin.
Oh, I didn't know that. Another learning tip.
So what we're going to do, we're going to bring it down, bring the contour down. And then I'm also going to take it from the apple of the cheeks, going up. So by using a brush, depending on what your technique is, you can actually get away with not blending it. Because the brush will actually do the blending for you. And then up in the forehead. Down in the jawline. Now you can play around with it depending on your face shape. So a lot of people, you can contour right here. You can just play around with it on your face just so that you can really sculpt your face depending.
I was just gonna ask you that. So like for somebody maybe that wants to contour their nose or to angle their chin,
Yes.
that's where like they would do specific things for that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, so what people can do is by doing it on the jawline, you're really bringing in the jawline. And what some people can do as well, depending on how you want your chin to look, is a lot of people also contour here. So like the sides of the chin.
Okay. And when they do their nose, what is that for?
So it's when people if they want a longer, slimmer looking nose.
Okay.
So now what we're gonna do is the same highlight technique, but just with the brush. So we're gonna put it on the same areas of the face, but we're not gonna use the product directly on her. We're gonna put it on the brush first, and then put it on.
Can you show us how much product you have on the brush?
Sure, like this. So as you can see this side, by using the brush, you don't even need to blend out the product. It just blends it with the brush.
Sorry, I got lots of hair.
That's okay. Here. You want to also not be so heavy-handed with the product because you still want people looking natural, just their natural selves. Unless you're going for a nighttime look, then you can always layer on the product.
So what's the difference between a daytime look and a nighttime look?
A nighttime look, a nighttime look, you tend to wear a little more darker makeup, a little more makeup, more layering, whereas a daytime look, you want to look more natural because it's with the daylight.
Okay.
So it's all about the lighting as well. That you don't want to wear something so dramatic, well, depending, you don't want to wear something so dramatic during the day. But you can, there's no real rules about that. So we're just gonna highlight now with the shimmer highlight, and we're just gonna do the cheekbone. And with the shimmer highlight, you don't wanna bring it right up to the eye. You wanna look where the natural cheekbone is and just highlight right on there. And your cheekbone really stands out, so it's really easy to find.
So if it's for somebody that has a hard time finding their cheekbone, how do you find your cheekbone?
Use your fingers. So
Okay.
you can just feel around, and the part that protrudes the most, you wanna get the tip of that and highlight right there.
Okay.
So for this, for instance, you would use your finger, so here's the cheekbone, and then you wanna highlight just on top of that. So what we're also gonna do, just add a little highlight over here, just to make it stand out and be like really cute and shimmery. And then just go like this. Just a little highlight here. And again, if you want the highlight to stand out more, you can always spray your brush after with the setting powder and apply it that way.
Okay.
So another thing that you can do to make your eyes pop is you just take a little bit of the highlight, shimmer highlight, spray the brush, and then just put it, as you can see, Louise already has some here. We're just gonna do an added amount on the inner corners of the eye.
Oh, I didn't know I could use that.
Yeah, you can just use the highlighting powder and it works wonders. And then it just makes the eye pop more. So Avon also has the illuminating sticks. Now what you can do with this is the same thing actually as the powder highlight, but it just is going to be a little more potent in color and a little more sparkly and shimmery. This will actually look like the powder with the setting spray on it. So if you really want to do like a nighttime look or you're going out, you can always layer it. So you'd add this first and just blend it out, and then you would add your powder highlight on top of that.
Okay. So, but it's not a blush.
It's not a blush, no.
Okay.
This, if you applied this onto the apples of your cheek, it's just going to be way too shimmery.
Okay.
So how do you apply it?
So you can still do it as, you can do it with a brush. That would be the best way. Or if you're still not familiar with brushes or how to use brushes, you can always just use it in the stick form, and then just, you don't want, depending on how the size of your cheekbone, you can go in with the whole thing, or you can just have more control and go just with the edge.
I see.
Yeah.
Good to know.
So the last thing that you want to make sure you're doing after you're done all of your highlight and your contour is you want to make sure that you're using a translucent powder to set with. A translucent powder looks like a white powder, but it goes on clear, so it's still going to show all the color through. And you want to make sure that you're setting with the powder, because everything that we've just put on the face is cream, and throughout the day creams will run. So it will end up falling down and it will end up absorbing and getting separated with the oil. So you want to make sure that you're just lightly dusting the translucent powder.
What kind of brush is this? Is this the big blush brush?
Yes, so this is the face powder brush from Mark. So you just want to really light, just to create a really thin layer, as if you're creating like a first layer of your skin basically. Just a really light, soft layer, just to set the makeup. You always want to make sure that you're setting creams and liquids with a powder.
And does Avon have a setting powder?
They do, yes. So they have a translucent powder. One of the Avon powders is the loose translucent one.
Awesome.
So this is the final product. So half of the side we blended out with the blending sponge, and then half the side we use the product on the brush directly. So as you can see, the side does look a lot softer. So if you're creating more of that daytime look, or you like that soft look, then go with the brush. But if you like the sponge better and just blend it out, once you really master that blending, the sponge would look also really, really nice, especially if you're going out at nighttime where you want to really have like that dramatic cut look.
That's great. Thank you.
So Kim, I just want to say thank you so much. I learned a lot. And can we zoom in on your eye makeup? I just absolutely love it. It's gorgeous. Oh my gosh. Oh my God, it's gorgeous.
So a really important step as well is to set your makeup. You want to make sure that you're putting the setting spray on there. It will set it, it will lock it in, and it makes your makeup stay on longer. So what you want to do is just far away, if you're doing it on somebody, just spray. You don't want to spray directly in somebody's face.
Like a mist.
Yeah. And you don't want to spray directly in somebody's face because it can be a little overwhelming, but you just spray down and it will come onto the face.
Perfect.